What's up, you guys? We're back with another NFL video. This is week 18, Beat the Odds NFL edition on Odds Checker. Before we get started, as always, guys, how are you? How did we do this past week?
I didn't start the new year out too well. Went 1-3, but thankfully had the Patriots. That was a nice one. So, but other than that, yeah, a lot of teams didn't really come home for me. But it's okay. It's okay. We'll just start this week 18, and then the playoffs we'll revamp and see how we do there.
Same thing on my end. I at 1-3 got the Patriots, beating down the Jags. That's the one big game that I finally got. So bummer. We had a couple of weeks. We had a couple of weeks of 3-1 stretched out, and now just felt like
so right back to
House of Cards. House of Cards.
All right. Well, new week, fresh start. So let's get those picks going. What do you guys have for us this week?
The start, it's such a warped week because some teams are playing for the playoffs, some aren't. So some are in the playoffs for resting starters. So there's a couple I had to make sure. I was like, hey, do they have something to play for? But to start with, this is one of the most bonkers teams that it's kind of gone on the radar just a tad bit because they're not a viable team this year. But I'm going to go with the Seahawks plus 6.5 at the Cardinals. And I know the Cardinals have stuff to play for, but the Seahawks, I just feel like this team is it's one of the craziest teams of the year. I don't know what their direction of their franchise is going to go, but I think they're going to have this one last hurrah performance, this one last valid performance of the Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson era. Who knows what happens this spring? But I also think they've done a couple nice things the last couple of weeks. I know the Bears game was wonky, but last week they had a nice performance. I think this defense, they have enough speed to keep up with what the Cardinals want to do. I think it's going to be a weird, ugly game. Week 18 games you just throw kind of everything out the window. I think Russ is going to put on one more performance. That's what I'm hedging on, at least to keep it close. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks plus 6.5.
Yeah, I thought about that game a little bit. I'm going to take a different NFC West game. San Francisco at the Los Angeles Rams. Rams by 5. I rewatched that game because I had to figure out, all right, so what is a Trey Lance, right? I mean, his first actual start. There was a lot of just, weird balls that were just, inaccurate. Just no reason that he should have been thrown.
First half, yes.
But then there were also plays off of the left sideline where he's thrown off of his back foot, and it's just like a laser. And the ball's, thrown downhill, basically. And you're like, what the heck? So I understand the upside of Trey Lance. If Garoppolo is still as banged up as the reports are said, though, I do wonder what he looks like when he's playing against, it's a rookie quarterback, second start, and it's, hey, Aaron Donald's coming after you, and Jalen Ramsey is in coverage, right? So a motivated Rams team that still has something to fight for right now, coming off of a loss or a near loss to the Baltimore. It feels like a loss, but they only won by.
It does.
They only won by 1.
Against the Fighting Tyler Huntley's.
Yeah, it wasn't a cover. Let me tell you that because I had money on the Rams on that one. But I just think against the San Francisco team, I really question what Trey Lance can do. So I'm taking the Rams here.
Yeah, I went back and forth on this one. I ended up the same side as you. I also have the Rams. So for my next pick, I also have the Rams. I went back and forth on this one. I'm actually just going to be one of the games I'm going to maybe Twitch stream this week is watching the 49ers offense. It's fun in some aspects. They do some some cool stuff with him. They're basically a single wing offense on third down where he just gets into shotgun. They have juice check lead blocking on power. But it's just one of those. He's going to need some more reps. You could definitely tell there's times he's locked in on stuff. So I kind of see it the same way as you. I also think this Rams team is motivated. They're a team that when they're on, it's one of the best teams in the league. But then it's just, you're praying for Stafford to not screw it up on those 3 to 4 plays. That's really what it is. He's a supersized Jimmy G. That. He's just a glorified, better version of that where you're just like, don't screw it up. Don't screw it up. Oh, wow. Awesome throw. So yeah, I'm the same side as you. I'm also going to go with the Rams.
The other game I'm going to take right now, Los Angeles Chargers -3 at the Raiders. The Raiders have a whisper of life in the playoffs. But whenever it's contingent on the Jaguars have to win a football game, it's a bad start. It's a real bad start. So even if you're scoreboard watching or something like that, I don't see how this team is going to play out in the way that this line is set up, because the Chargers are just a high-flying offense. The Raiders have played, stagnant cover 3 all season. I mean, it's what sparked Mahomes, life back into his game. Herbert is just going to eat these guys up.
I know.
He's just going to throw seams. He's going to throw corners. These cover 3 corners are going to wonder, where did this R straight come from?
That ball go?
Derek Carr doesn't do this in practice. Yeah, of course. So, yeah, I'm taking the Chargers here. I just think in terms of both motivation and talent on the roster, it's not like the Raiders are going to win on the ground, like we've seen the Patriots and the Cowboys, et cetera, do to the Chargers. So I don't think they're committed to the run game in that way, and the Chargers are built to win the shootout. So Chargers by 3.
I'm exact same bet. Chargers -3 at the Raiders. I see it exactly the same way. And watching, actually, that's what I was right before we started the show. I just actually sent out a tweet on this. Is rewatching that game already. Like Justin Herbert was a machine against the Broncos, which is a much tougher defense than this Raiders
for
team.
Sure.
And it's like, it's not the highlight throws where he's throwing it 70 yards off his back foot or anything like that, but it was just like he was a machine. He was just accurate, and it's like, oh boy, he's on the upswing right now. And they're getting healthy. They finally got these guys off the COVID list. Like that helps so much with this team. They have stuff to play for. I know this is kind of a loser leaves town match, but I mean, that matters, though. It's like the Chargers, I think they want to put on a performance. So I see it the same way. I'm going Chargers -3.
Next game, New Orleans -4.5 at Atlanta. The Saints have something to play for. The Falcons do not here. I think Sean Payton, probably, last game of the season, he's got enough tricks he's got enough tricks in the book to beat this Atlanta Falcons team. It's not like they're crazy talented. They just lost in the snow to Buffalo. They're supposed to be a tough team, and they lost to the team that's getting beat up. If you want to run games at them like the entire season, that's who Buffalo has been. So New Orleans with that defensive front, with what Sean Payton can scheme up on the offensive side, I have enough faith. Here that they can beat a Falcons team that really has had nothing to play for the entire season. I know that they've, had been alive in the playoff race.
The weirdest record ever.
Yeah, they've been alive in the playoff race where, every game that they've won by, 2 points. Yeah. They've never really had a shot. So I'm going with New Orleans here.
I like it. I almost went the same way, but I stayed away. I think it's picks of the week, right?
Are you ready? Yeah.
All right.
So this week, I'm going with Patriots. Last week, I took a break from picking the Patriots. I don't really know why. Obviously, my picks the past few weeks have been a little off. But I like this game. I'm excited for this game. Although the Dolphins have definitely come back and are looking much stronger than they did at the beginning of this season, the Patriots are having fun. The Patriots last game had fun. They look great, and I like this pick. Patriots -6.5 this week.
I have the exact same pick of the week. Patriots -6. I actually was thinking that you'd maybe go that way. I think Belichick remembers week 1. I don't think he liked losing that to that Dolphins team in week 1. Kind of start their season off with a skid. He's always the guy. Even if they did have this clinch, for everything in the playoffs and everything, like division and all that stuff, he's the guy that week 17 or now week 18 is still firing. There's no weeks off in that franchise. So I think this Dolphins team, like you said, Katelyn, is that on off, they've done some nice things that they're led by their defense. The thing is that I think this Patriots defense is going to take it to the Dolphins offense and just make it ugly. So I think it's going to be one of those, it's going to be a slog of a game, maybe a 20-7 type game. But I think that the Patriots are going to come out ahead and they're going to cover. So that's my pick of the week as well.
My pick of the week is one of the weirdest lines I can remember for a week 18. Cincinnati +6 at Cleveland.
I think it was just +3.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Plus 3. My bad. Oh, I can't. It's too early in the morning. My bad. Cincinnati +3 at Cleveland. Cleveland has absolutely nothing to play for here. They're eliminated in the playoffs. It's going to be a short turnaround from that Monday night game. They're playing 2 games in 6 days, and they have nothing to play for. Okay, So that's the front end. The second thing is there's such a huge difference now at the quarterback position between what Burrow's been doing and what Baker's been doing recently. Third thing, Cincinnati is fighting for anything between being a 4 seed and being the 1 seed, technically, in the AFC. They still have the 1 seed to fight for, even. What is going on with this line?
I after last week when I asked that about a bunch of games, I'm like just scared of any of those lines that smell fishy.
No, I'm attacking it. I'm attacking it. Cincinnati +3 at Cleveland. I'm taking that. That's my pick of the week. That might be like my pick of the year. This line does not make sense to me at all. It should be Cincinnati -3.
That's exactly what it should be. 3 or 3.5. That's what I thought it would be. I know. I actually had to blink my eyes a couple times, going like, "Am I looking at this right way?"
With all due respect to Odds Checker, I was on Odds Checker. I was looking at it, and I'm like, I need a second source on this because this doesn't make sense. I looked up on my app. Not great. Not great.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, that's all that we have for this week, week 18, our NFL picks. This was Beat the Odds NFL edition on Odds Checker.